Good morning, guys. This is the Rideshare Chaplain from Charleston, South Carolina at the Magnolia Plantation. And I came back to the Magnolia Plantation today to do a video because it's time to fight for your freedom. And I listened last night to the Rideshare Professor. There's a movement out in California, which I'm so proud of the drivers in California for standing up for themselves. They forced a law to be passed called AB-5, which treats the drivers as employees. Uber has come back and said, well, you're really independent contractors and you're your own business. Well, if we're on a business and we're independent contractors, then we should be able to see how much the fare is that's being offered, the length of the trip, okay, and how much we get paid on a trip. And the Rideshare Professor and those guys out there started a movement that says $4 ignore, $5 we drive. So they're literally going to force Uber to up their rates 20 to 30% by saying, hey, we're not driving for less than $5 a trip. Yesterday I worked 11 hours. I went downtown, and granted, I did 19 trips. 7 of those trips were short trips in the tourist area. I woke up this morning, and guys, I give first class service. Not one of those passengers, not one of those passengers on those short trips tipped me a dime. The most I made on a short trip downtown was $3.86. I had one trip where I took, and I've never seen it this low. I've never had a trip go to $3. I had a lady I picked up, I took her 7 blocks, and the trip was $3. And I was like, $3? And, you know, a driver brought up the point that the cancellation fee is more than that. So we got to do something. And being on the plantation, you know, I love history, and I think about when they had slaves in this country, right? They had free labor. Basically, what Uber is doing is forcing us to work for free. Really, worse than that, not only is Uber forcing us to work for free, Uber's not considering our maintenance, our gas. Now, I'm going to tell you, yesterday I put $23 worth of gas in my car. Gas is cheaper out here than it is in California, guys. The gas out here right now is at $2.36 a gallon. So I filled up my tank. So I spent about $23 and some change to fill my tank yesterday before I went on the road. And I didn't start making money yesterday till I got out of the downtown area. I got so disgusted after about a few hours. I didn't know what was going on. I've never seen it this bad. So I left downtown and I started picking up some better trips. And I did, one trip was $23, one trip was $14.95. I got another trip for $17. And I ended up for the whole day making about $153 for 11 hours. But I had to stay out there 11 hours to make $153. And I was hustling to get that. Okay? And I'm a good driver. And then one of those passengers had the nerve to give me a 1-star, talking about bad conversation. And I've got a dash cam guy, but I don't have bad conversations in my car. In fact, I read people very well, and if they don't want to talk, I don't talk to them. You know, I'm real polite to everybody. So that upset me. And then I called Uber and said, hey, I'm protesting against this 1-star, which y'all know Uber support is worthless. I basically told them, I have dash cam. If you think there was an inappropriate conversation, I'll send you the copies of all the trips for the day, so you can look at them and tell me. Since you won't tell me what person it was, I'm offering to send you all the trips for the day, so that you can go ahead and evaluate on those things, which one you think was a inappropriate conversation. And I was so disgusted. And you know, it's a slap in the face when you're out there giving good service and that happens. But I want to bring up this. It's time for us to all across the country to stand together and fight for higher rates. That's the bottom line. We need higher rates. Okay, they can afford to raise the rates 20%, even 25%. Okay, they can afford to do that. Okay, and so what I'm proposing is to support the rideshare professor and and Dustin and all the drivers who are pushing Drive for 4. Now, we unfortunately in South Carolina don't have the ability yet to see how much the trip is. We just accept the trip and we don't find out really what we're getting paid until the trip is over. Then we know pretty much how much we're going to make. And that's unfair. If we're really truly independent contractors, they should be required to show us the trip on when they send up the trip. We should see how much the trip is, you know, how far it's going and what the fare is going to be. And we should be able to then decide whether we're going to accept it or decline it, including seeing where it's going. We haven't gotten there yet, but that's what AB-5 did for them out there in California. And now it's starting up in the governor of New York is now beginning to force that also. So it gave me an idea, guys. You know, I said before, I think this is akin to a civil rights movement. So what I would like to do is, I would like to start a petition among South Carolina drivers to demand change, to force Uber to pay us a fair wage and to compensate us more for our gas and our time. Okay, which means they need to raise the rates, and we need to protest this because we're working for less than slave wages. That's why I'm on the plantation today, because Uber executives, Mr. K out there, you know better than a slave master. All right, you got the same mentality. You're making the drivers work for peanuts, and we need to stand up and say this is wrong. And the California drivers, my hat's off to the rideshare professor, because he's taking the leadership, and he's basically saying less than $4, they're not driving. $5, they drive. Less than $5, they're not driving. So ignore $4, drive for $5. Anything under $4, $4 and under, they're not driving. Okay, so we need to do the same thing here in South Carolina, but we can't, because we can't see yet. But I want to say to my brothers out in California, I support you, and I'm gonna show you how much I support you, because guys, one thing I am is a leader. I am going to put a petition together. I don't know exactly how. I want you guys to spread this video and support me, because what I want to do is get a petition somehow, communicate with all the drivers in South Carolina who work Lyft and who work Uber, to sign it and present it to the House of Representatives in Columbia, South Carolina. And then we need to put some drivers together. I even thought that maybe we could do a caravan of Uber drivers and drive to the capital of South Carolina and circle the capital and demand that they pass laws to force Uber to pay us a fair wage. Now, we got another battle here that y'all don't have out in California. South Carolina is a right to work state. So even though it's a right to work state, I think it's criminal, and I think they're misrepresenting their advertisement when they say we're independent contractors. And I think they need to force their hand, and I think the legislature, and I mean, this goes across party lines. I'm going to the Democrats, I'm going to the Republicans, and we need to put them on the spot on camera and say what they're going to do about this issue. And we need to start speaking out. I told you before, it's going to require some sacrifice. It's going to require drivers coming together. And drivers, it can't be just about you. When there was slavery going on, there was always those who went and ran back and told the slave master what was going on to undermine the movement. Okay? But I'm asking drivers in South Carolina to come together. I'm asking that we come together and we say we're not going to continue to drive and be treated unfairly. We ought to, at least at the minimum, be able to choose, and we ought to be able to see how much the fare is, the location of the trip, where it's going, and how much it's going to pay. They need to be forced to do that so that we can make intelligent decisions. As independent contractors, we should know that information. I just negotiating with a guy right now to do my roof on my house. okay? And I told him, you know, I need to see exactly all the material, the cost. Don't just give me one flat rate. I need to see, okay, how much are you gonna spend for this, for this, for this, for this, for this? I want a breakdown. Because I'm not just gonna write you a check for the $11,000. I want to see where all that money's going. I want to see. Because he was $3,000 higher than my insurance company was willing to pay, right? So I'm putting this on blast today. Putting this on blast that this needs to change. Okay? This needs to change. And I'm sitting on a plantation where people were taken advantage of. South Carolina got a history of unfair labor practices. Okay? It's got a history of it. So Uber would be right at home in South Carolina. They might as well, if they keep getting away with the stuff they're doing, they might as well put their headquarters here in our state. Now, I love South Carolina. I love the weather. This is nothing against the people, but doggone it, it's time to stand up. And so I'm out here in the rain. I'm getting ready to go drive, but I'm really trying to come up with another strategy, and I'm tired of trying to figure out a strategy. How can I make at least 150 today? How can I do this? And I'm out here driving my gas in my car into the ground trying to make this money and I may have to do something else. But I'm gonna stick with this because I like rideshare. But I'm willing to fight. I'm willing to fight for my rights. And I'm willing to fight for the other drivers' rights. Are you willing to support me to fight for the rights? Are you willing to fight for your rights? Or do you want to be just an eyes-above slave and continue to work for slave wages? Because let me tell you something, we are our brother's keeper. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, you are your brother's keeper. We're all our brother's keeper. And so it's time to stop this crap, okay? It's time for drivers to come together. I'm gonna go to the airport lot today and I'm gonna speak to some of the drivers and see if I can get something going. I was thinking about making up a flyer to pass around to try to put together some kind of movement so we can do a, maybe, you know, I would love to put together about 100 rideshare drivers and we go single file as a protest and we get the news media involved and we drive from Charleston, South Carolina to the Capitol in single file with our flashes on. And we apply for a permit, we get a police escort. We can get that, okay? Because it's a protest, and we can get permission to have a caravan of rideshare drivers from Charleston, South Carolina, lined up. And you don't have to be from Charleston, South Carolina. Just 100 cars or more lined up with the headlights on and our flashers, and maybe a police escort in the back and the front. And we drive all the way to Columbia, and then we circle the State House, and then everybody, and we have a rally right there on the State House steps. People do it all the time. We'll have to organize it. I need some people willing to help me organize it, and some people that want to see change in South Carolina, because I am ready to do something, okay? And I'm so excited about what they're doing out in California. Y'all keep going, because you're fighting for the rights of everybody, not just the rights for your state. But this is going to spread. Everything happens in California always spreads across the country like this. And I heard about Governor Cuomo, heard what the rap professor said about that. And for those of you that criticize my channel, because I say, why do I keep speaking about the red channel? It ain't about whose channel. It's about trying to make the lives of drivers better. I'm fighting for all of us, and we have to unite. All of us are important. It's not about me. It's about trying to do better for everybody. And I feel like that and divine intervention has happened, and I'm in this situation, and it would be immoral as a man and as a man of God for me not to stand up and do something about this and say something about this. As a man of God, I've got to stand up, okay? And all of you guys, your dignity, don't sell your dignity for $3. Don't keep driving for this company that's taking advantage of you. We can fight for our rights. And we can fight for AB-5 in South Carolina. Now, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's going to be like a salmon trying to swim upstream, because this state is a right-to-work state, and it's anti-union big time. But you know what? We're really not trying to formulate a union. We're just trying to get fair treatment, moral treatment. And this is an election year, y'all. This is an election year for these senators, state senators, and for these and all these congressmen and things like this. It's coming up election time, and we need to put the pressure on them, Democrat and Republican, and make them come out publicly and make a statement where they stand on rideshare, and if they're going to stand with the drivers or they're going to stand with that big corporation that's stealing and robbing people and making and not taking care of us. They don't care about our safety. They don't care about our expenses. They just want us to drive our cars in the ground. They're using us. They're crooks. And so it's time for us to stand. So Rideshare Professor, I'm with you, bro. And I hope you come visit South Carolina, man. And maybe when we do this rally, maybe a couple of you California brothers come out here and ride with us. Okay? I mean, we got to do something, man. And I'm ready. I'm calling for a caravan, a rideshare caravan from Charleston, South Carolina to Columbia to the State House. Because we need to go to the State House and let the State House representatives know that Uber and Lyft are putting drivers in the poorhouse. That's right. They're putting us in the poorhouse. We're burning our gas and all this, and we want to provide the service. Do you know how many, I wish somebody would do a statistic on how many drunk drivers are Uber drivers and Lyft drivers responsible for taking off the highways of South Carolina and saving the lives of South Carolina citizens because they got into an Uber instead of getting into their car. And how many drivers have sacrificed doing that and risking themselves, their safety and everything else. And so that's the way that our state administrators need to look at that. That's the way our representatives need to look at it. Uber is a public service. The drivers are performing, not Uber, because remember, they're a technology company. Well, I'm calling on the governor. I'm calling on the state senators. I'm calling on county councilmen in every county in South Carolina to stand up for rideshare drivers. They work hard. They deserve fair wages. They deserve to be treated right. And they deserve reasonable wages. Okay? And these guys, they're robbing us blind. So I want to see where this is a voting year. This is a year we're going to cast elections. So I'm going to go to the media and I'm going to try to get them to do an interview with me. And I need a couple of more rideshare guys that were willing to go with me on this. And we need to do like a Martin Luther King style protest. We're going to overcome. We're going to overcome. We're going to get our fair wages. We want AB-5 to come alive in South Carolina. I'm going to say it again. We want AB-5 to come alive in South Carolina. No more chains. No more chains. No more slavery for drivers in South Carolina. No more $3 drives in South Carolina. And passengers, your day of reckoning is coming that take advantage of drivers. I'm not talking to the good passengers. I'm talking to the ones that make false reports. I've been doing some research. And if you go to small claims court drivers and get a subpoena and it's sent to Uber through the sheriff's department, mailed to them, they're obligated under law to honor that subpoena and release the information on the person who files a complaint against you in our state. And if they don't, they're in violation of the law. They have to release that. And then you're entitled for damages. If they can't prove what they saying is true. And especially you drivers that's got dash cam footage, you got the best evidence. Okay? It's time to start. I'm going to start, and I'm saying this, we got to start taking these passengers that make these false reports to small claims court and start hitting them in their pockets, guys. It's time for us to do our homework. From my understanding, you can go to small claims court and you can subpoena the records for the identity of driver that makes an allegation against you, and you can require them to have to submit that information, and then you can send a subpoena to that person, that driver, to come in court. And if they don't, they get tried in their absence and you get a judgment. It's time for us to stand up, guys. It's time, past time, high time to stand up. We need to make AB-5 come alive in South Carolina. AB-5 come alive in South Carolina. We need to bring this here, just like they're doing out in California, because unless you just want to keep driving, it look like the wages keep going down. It's almost like they want to say, let's see how far we can make these fools drive. Let's see how far we can keep them driving for no money. And, you know, we're caught in the fix betwixt. I know you got to feed your family. I know you got to do different things. But pray. Let's pray. Because you know what? The civil rights movement started the same way, guys. We got to stand up for what's right. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Executive board, Uber, we coming. Lyft, we coming. And Lyft, you just follow everything Uber do. Lyft, you be smart to get ahead of this and make the changes first. I'm calling on Lyft. Why don't you make the changes first? That'll make you look good. And so, because you know what? We're going to come after you too. But it's time, drivers. Hit me up in the comment section, please. And look, please give me some likes. A lot of y'all had 35 people look at a video and I had 6 likes. Nobody commented. I mean, come on, guys. I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying to do something to help us all. So I'm asking you to like my video, leave a comment, and if you're interested in getting involved in this, I'm getting ready to get a P.O. box. I'll have one next week where you can write. And I'm going to have a separate phone where you can call in and leave a message. And we're going to get together and we're going to put this thing together. I'm going to make some flyers. And I need support from you guys to help me do this. Okay, I can't do it all by myself. But I'm hoping that you guys will come together and fight for your rights. All right, this is the Rideshare Chaplain calling out, saying it's time to bring AB-5 alive in South Carolina. It's time to bring AB-5 alive in South Carolina. Let's not sit back and let's get this momentum going. They already got it going in California. I know there's brothers out there in New York that's getting it going. Need to get it going, Dustin. And Dustin, I'm calling on you. You know, you do a lot of good stuff, man. Why don't you head up that thing in New Jersey? Let's get this thing going. Every state, let's get this thing going. All you guys got YouTube channel. Let's get it going. Let's share it together. Let's come together. We shall overcome. Doggone it, I'll get a plane ticket and come to California and march with y'all, because we got to come together. In fact, I want to do that. Rideshare Professor, I'm calling out. I'll come see you. Let's go march on Uber headquarters. Let's get a representative from every state and call a press conference. Why don't we do that? Get a representative from every state in the union and leaders from different, it don't have to be one, it could be 2, 3, 4, and come together and go out to California and march on Uber and Lyft headquarters and call a press conference. It's time to do it, guys. It's time to have a civil rights style, because it is a civil right. You have a right to work, and you have a right to a fair wage. You have a right. When you work, you have a right to be paid a fair wage. They're keeping, I heard, what is it, 60% of your fare on one case? Guys, we got to start looking at the math too. They're stealing from us. All right, this is the Rideshare Professor signing off. I'm gonna go out here and try to make a few dollars. I'm gonna have to go pray because I'm angry. And you know, when I'm angry, I smile like this, but I'm upset because I see how people are getting taken advantage of, and I just don't like to be taken advantage of. And I'm a fighter when I have to be. It's time to be warriors, guys. It's time to stand up for your rights. All right? All right. Rideshare Professor is doing it. Let's pray for him. Let's get behind him. And I'm behind anybody that wants to help. If you want to help, make things better. Let's make it better. Let's come together. You know, united we stand, guys. Divided we fall. We got to stand united, okay? And we can't be wimps. We can't be afraid to speak out and stand up, okay? All right? If I get deactivated, I get deactivated. I'll still keep fighting. I'll fight even harder, okay? So let's make it happen, guys. And that would be retaliatory if they did that. So go on, Uber, make me a rich man. Mess with me, see what happens. All right, I'm going to be talking to my representative this week. In fact, I know my representative in my district. I'm gonna meet with him and sit down for a cup of coffee, because I voted for him in the last election, and I'm gonna put him on the spot this week, and I'll come back and I'll let you know what he says. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna see if he'll do an interview for my YouTube video, and we'll see where this goes. All right, it's time to start the fireworks, guys. Time to load up the cannons. Time to lock and load. Let's go. Bring AB-5 alive in South Carolina. AB-5 needs to come alive in South Carolina. And we want the same rights they got out in California. We want the same rights. I mean, we're citizens. Why can't we have the same rights? Why should they have a different rate than we have? And don't give me this crap about, well, it costs more to live out there. That might be true, but we should still have the right to be able to see the trip, see where it's going and how much it costs, and the right to decline or accept. And there should be no penalty if we decline, because we're independent contractors, right, Uber? So you're not being fair. You're not giving us all the information we should have. So we got to fight for it. Uber, you better get ahead of this, because I'm telling you right now, you are not gonna come out on the good end of this. Because I'm telling you, drivers are gonna come together nationwide. It's time, guys. All right, God bless you. Have a wonderful Sunday, guys. I love you. I'm standing with you. Stand with me. God bless. Bye bye.